MAPCOM, let's talk about MAPCOM. Is it a new company? Because I started to hear the name MAPCOM, see the name only recently.
Sure.
Did you start this or you took over MAPCOM?
Actually, I took over the MAPCOM and it was established almost 90 years before now, almost 20.
20?
20,
Wow.
yes.
In Kurdistan?
In Kurdistan region back in 2006. So basically they started doing the survey work, the topography survey, and also the environmental work, which is the main sector for the oil and gas departments and also the companies that they are really depending on those environmental impact assessment for any kind of activity or project or even facility if they want to build.
So the MAPCOM helps oil and gas companies to map an area from every aspect before they start a project. Is that the idea? Do a survey, basically.
Basically, we start with topographic survey. By the way, 95% of our work is related to the oil and gas companies. Yeah. So basically, we do the topographic survey before they start. So they need to understand the nature of the ground. Then the design should be based on that nature and based on the, let's say, the reality, on evidence base. For example, this is the elevation of it, and that area is the elevation of it, and there is a slope or steep slope or flat area between them. So based on that, the data will be extracted and goes to design. So they design facilities, the location of well, based on the topographic survey. And we started that back in 2006.
2006.
Yeah.
But you do not only look at elevations, for example, certain elements, you see everything.
Yeah.
And you do the survey via satellite, am I right?
So we have different kind of approach. Basically, we start with the total station and also differentiate GPS, which we call GNSS, which is related to directly to the course station. The course station is a location that basically the GPS, if it needs to work properly, it needs to have the triangle. In order to have this triangle to be completed, you have to have 3 points. So base, rover, course station, that is 3. Base and rover, that's 2 instrument, which we call the differential GPS. And the course gives the third point for this triangle, and it gives you the correction of your GPS coordinate, which is X, Y, and Z, the exact one. This is the usual process that we do. But as you know, we are open to the global, and we want to see what exactly now is the innovative ideas regarding the survey. And those companies also contact us because we are, let's say, pioneer in the survey. So they want us to be their representative in Iraq and also in Kurdistan. So we ask them, okay, what's your added value compared to other companies? So why we should select you as a MAPCOM?
So it's you select them, not them selecting you.
So they actually, we will decide finally.
Wow.
We will decide finally because there's too many companies, too many manufacturers, and we know the gaps in the market. So according to the gap in the market, we know what should exactly to be there, and also the cost, which is very, let's say, important at that stage, especially those who are new to the sector or the fresh graduate. They don't spend a lot to have the instrument or the equipment. So we need to consider this, let's say, layer of new generation. So this is our target because eventually they're gonna run the sector eventually after 10 years.
Who?
If the new generation or the new graduated from college. So if we supported them with lower cost, we provide them the equipment with lower cost, they will be using it in proper way, and we will train them how they can use it. in a proper way to get the extraction of the nature, the natural ground level, or any kind of topographic survey in the proper way.
Wow. And then for 20 years, MAPCOM has existed. And but you said that you mainly work in the field of oil and gas, or your clients, let's say. But you could do surveying for other purposes, agricultural purposes, environmental purposes. Am I right?
Sure.
If MAPCOM can do more than just oil and gas.
Exactly. So basically, one of the main sector in the oil and gas is environment. Because they do not harm the environment, whatever they do. This is one of them, let's say, mandate that the Ministry of Natural Resources, they put as a EIA, they call it EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment. Basically, this is a report, the study that MAPCOM can do or any other company can do. Basically, it gives you the idea if this facility or any kind of project done in certain area, what will be the harm that that facility will do to the environment.
Yeah.
And what, as a MAPCOM company, we will decide and we will give the solution. Is it the right place to build this in that area or no?
Oh, so okay. Apart from the surveying and mapping, you can also give advice, or you just do the mapping and leave it to the company to decide?
No. We will advise regarding the EIA. And also, for example, if there is a refinery, after doing the EIA, maybe we will say, okay, this refinery should have filters. Or the direction, because the wind direction will affect that, and also the elevation. This is why we are going to the air pollution. We need to do the modeling for the air pollution. How this, let's say, refinery or any kind of facility generator will affect the health of people. So we need to have an evidence base, we call it EIA, and this is a requirement for any project within the Ministry of Natural Resources or other, let's say, the ministry. They request that, and also we will do the baseline study as well. The baseline study, for example, before starting this project, what is the status of noise in that area? What is the soil situation? What is the water pH in that area? Then after 2 years, we can do the monitoring on quarterly base till we will reach to that, the top or the cutoff 2 year. So then we will say, okay, guys, after 2 years, we have this data, this project affected the area by X amount of pollution or pollutant, or it's very safe.
Wow. So you do 2 years. So that's just an example.
That's
right?
an example.
2 years of monitoring.
That's example. Usually we do on quarterly base, the monitoring. We can do that.
But the noise pollution, for example, the ground pollution, these things you can only be done on the ground. It's not something to do from the sky or from space, or you could do that too.
So if you allow me, let me explain in another way how we can use the remote sensing data and satellite data. So basically, satellite or remote sensing, it's not the alternative for the field work. It's only we are shortlisting the places. We say, guys, come on, work in this area. According to the analysis that we do through the remote sensing, it gives you an idea that you don't need to work in other areas. Please work in this area. So this is the shortlisting process for us. But also we have indicators. For example, the health of vegetation, we can get it through the remote sensing, through the satellite, which is publicly available, the data. We just need to run few codes, and that's it. We can get, for example, in your area, we can have run full analysis for the vegetation cover and to identify the indexes. One of the main indexes for the health of vegetation, we call it NDVI, which is the normalized vegetation index. So it gives you an idea what is the health of vegetation through the whole year in your area.
Wow.
And which are under stress. So it gives you the figure from 0 to 1. So 0 means, okay, it's either an object or the health of the tree or the grass.
Yeah.
It's very bad.
0 is bad.
Yeah, and also
Always.
and also goes to 1. 1 means like, okay, above 0.66, the vegetation means, okay, they are healthy.
Oh, so 1 is good.
Yeah, usually it's good through the whole year.
Through the whole year.
whole year.
And then help me understand this, because I don't know how it works. You have MAPCOM company and you want to, for example, do some remote sensing. Is it remote sensing?
Remote sensing analysis.
Of a specific area. Do you buy all that data from a company, from the satellite owners, or do you make an agreement, for example, for 6 months to use their satellites to point to that location? How does that work?
So basically, as I mentioned earlier, the data is publicly available. The only thing that we need to use is some coding to run the raw data, because the raw data, which is available publicly, needs an engineering background to run the data. So
to turn it into information.
Exactly. So it's not, you cannot see it by naked eye. Okay, through the the image, you'll say, okay, this area is very healthy, or no. No, it each pixel turns to the data and the graph, and gives you through the time series over the year. This area is healthier than the other area.
But why is it available? My question is, for example, you want some data on a certain mountain area in the Kurdistan region, and you say the data is there. Why is it available? Have they been collecting it over the years? Because I thought every time you wanted data from a certain area, you had to work with the satellite and monitor that area. But now from what you're saying is that the data is already there. So some satellites in space are constantly monitoring everything on Earth.
Exactly. There are 2 main missions, which is NASA and ESA. And NASA is American one, and also US based, and also the ESA is, they called the European Spaceship Agency. So those data are publicly available. And for example, from ESA, they have 2 kind of satellite from each spot on Earth. At 10:30 a.m., they capture certain area for a phenomena, especially for flooding or dust or any kind, let's say heat, storm, exactly. And then in 1:30 p.m., they spot the same area again. So the satellite, they call it ascending and descending. So you have the same area that goes to the shading. It will solve the shading problem from the satellite, because if we have a building at 10:30, there is a shading for that building, and that shading goes to the building behind or nearby the building. So this shading gives me false data usually. Or doesn't give me the accurate data. So they thought about, okay, guys, we need to have another reading for that spot at 1:30 p.m. So in order to solve this issue,
to be accurate.
So there's too much, let's say, approach to understand the raw data from satellite. And as a MAPCOM, we have a dedicated department as GIS and remote sensing. And we established that back in 2008.
Wow.
Since the beginning of that era. So we know what exactly we can do with the satellites and what are the capable of, how we can fill the gaps, actually. We know the gaps. We will study the gaps. And we are trying to find the suitable satellite to fill that gap.
And the people who work with you in that department and at MAPCOM, where did they learn to read these maps and turn the raw data into graphs and information? Where did they learn that?
So basically in MAPCOM, we are supporting staff to have trainings and also to do the self-paced training as well. So we are very open to developing the staff. And also we have the plan for each and every staff. So they have KPI indicator. So we can, as a manager, as the line manager of that staff, so they will be evaluating according their KPI. One of the main KPI for us is the training. Okay, I will say, Mr. X, you promised that from this 6 month of year, you will learn X and Y and Z. Where are you now? So he says, okay, I'm in X and Y, I'm perfect, and I can do blah, 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 blah. But for Y, I'm having challenge. Okay, we are supporting him. So for that. And this is why we are pioneer in remote sensing and GIS and also remote sensing, because we started early.
Yeah.
And we are with the development of the technology now, because technology is very fast now.
Yeah.
If we are not on track today, we cannot easily get on track tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's very
you will
challenging.
be left behind, exactly. Yeah. Things are moving really fast.
Very true. And one of the main factor, and let's say that's from managerial perspective, we know we open the floor for the staff if he understand or she wants to develop himself in certain area that serves MAPCOM. Even if it's not in our mandate.
Yeah, they could discover something new.
Exactly. From that perspective, we can open new era, new department.
Yeah.
This is why we opened two different departments this year. Actually, it was planning from last year, but we opened it that year. It is climate change and also water resource management.
That's very important.
Yeah. Because we understood that those two main factors are very, let's say, interlocking with each other. And whenever we want to solve something, it's related to another thing.
Yes.
So from that perspective, we can understand the bigger picture. Okay, what caused what? And what is the solution for that? Yeah. So we went through the, other solutions we will discuss in our podcast today, like nature-based solution, ecosystem-based adaptation, and how we can mitigate flood, how to make that challenge and change it to opportunity.
Yeah, because I thought that when you earlier said that you mainly work with oil and gas companies, that limits the pool of your clients.
Sure.
If you expand and work with governments, organizations, NGOs that work in the field of climate change, environmental conservation, you can help more people. It feels like everyone would need that type of survey that you do.
Very true, very true. One of the, let's say, another things that we see is very needed now, water management. In Kurdistan, we have mountains, and the main source of, let's say, the cycle of water, it will make the cycle of water short. That means we have too many clouds compared to other flat area. So that means we can have rains eventually. Whenever we have rains, we can have managing those rains, not causing floods. So those area, we are very, let's say, keen on it. And we are having a bunch of plans for water. We already started in Duhok with the Ministry of Agriculture, the Water Resource Department. We had an opportunity to make a study and also design a structure in that area. So basically to use the rainwater to mitigate flood, and also the main purpose of it is to recharge it to the aquifer, the rainwater. So that is something we already completed.
Wow.
And the result was very successful, alhamdulillah. And the design was new. For the area, especially the study.
Okay. So you only completed the study, or the project was later practiced and they harvested the water?
Yeah, already they
did it,
yeah.
And it was successful?
Yeah. So the main part is the study. So to exactly select which location should be done, the structure. Then it gives you an idea what will be the extent of water if we have the structure in that location, and how high it should be, and what is the capacity of the soil in that area that can handle the structure.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long does it take to do something like that, a study like that?
Very short, actually. So we will
Weeks or months?
Weeks, actually. The main thing here, we do the drone survey to get the extracted the nature, the natural ground. Then to understand the soil in that area, we will do the the geological analysis in the area, the layers, and then we will compare to that. We have those inputs, and then we will do the design, basically. The height, the width, and what kind of material should be used. We have limitation, true, because the material that should be used should be very familiar to the contractor.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will be challenging.
Exactly.
And the thing that we done from the study is to control the sediment as well, because when there is a flood, the main challenge will be the sediment.
I saw that with my own eyes 2 days ago in our village. There is a place, there was zero sediment or rocks or anything. After a night of rains, the whole area is changed completely. It's full of sediments and covered a lot of grass.
Exactly.
In a small area. So imagine if you have a wide area with a lot of floods.
Exactly. In engineering perspective, we call that the base will be changed. The type of soil will be changed for the base, for the area. Because, previously was not that kind of material in the area.
Yeah.
Now we have it.
Oh, yeah.
So it is not in the design to have this kind of material in the area.
Yeah.
So it should be cleaned.
Yeah.
So after any kind of, let's say, flood, it should be cleaned. Otherwise, that will affect the structure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so eventually any kind of structure have the lifespan time. For example, the structure we designed, it's almost, I guess it's 20 years for that time period. By the way, the structure we designed based on the flood for 50 years, 50.
Wow.
So the flood for 50 years before now, how was it? And we designed based on that.
For the next 50 years or?
No. The previous 50 years, how was it?
50, yeah.
And also we have some kind of structure.
Where did you get the data as to how it was 50 years ago?
So basically we have softwares, engineering at that area. So they can have the formulas. Also they can discover exactly, for example, 50 years before now, what was the rain, let's say, millimeter in that area. And how was it the flood? We will simulate, basically. We will simulate. And it's very close to the reality. Very close to the reality. Yeah.
And speaking of accuracy, a few days ago you posted online that, if I remember correctly, you said sometimes 1 millimeter of error will cost you millions of dollars down the road for any project. And with maps, it's one of the most sensitive things because mainly of political reasons. Every time you see a map of a country, people will attack. They say, no, that does not include that city. It's the border has expanded way beyond that. It's a very sensitive field, especially in the Middle East. People fight over maps all the time. So as a company, how do you overcome that issue of accuracy?
So basically, we are not involved in administrative boundaries. For example, if any kind of survey that we want to do, it will be on spot. On a location. For example, if it's like, 100 dönum, 200 dönum, 5,000 dönum, it's a spot. It's within the boundary.
Not a country.
Yeah. So the capacity that usually we've been requested, it's not that big. It's based on the project.
Yes.
So, for example, the accuracy that I mentioned, for example, if we have a survey for road, if we are not accurate, for example, we have layers. We have layers for, let's say, of road.
Yeah.
For sub-base of course, if we've been mistaken in design or survey by 1 centimeter, imagine 1 centimeter by 500 kilometer, it's a huge amount of sub-base.
Yeah.
Or material, basically. If you convert it to money, it costs huge.
Wow.
So this precision, this is the main key, actually. This is why we've mentioned that the accuracy that we have is within centimeters. This is why we are very open to see what kind of technology is now available with highest accuracy.
Highest accuracy.
Yeah, and we found out that there is too many, equipment, survey equipment. One of the main, let's say, surprises that we have this year for the audience and the users for the survey equipment, we have a new brand, let's say, technology inside the company. We brought it. Now we are the main dealer for Iraq. Still, it's not announced, but we will announce soon. They called Tersas company. Tersas company, as it's a GPS, differential GPS. As I mentioned earlier, for doing the survey with GPS, you need to have 3 points.
Yeah, the triangle.
The triangle. So this triangle is costly. The course is costly. You have to do the subscription, and you have to pay on monthly basis.
Wow.
And also for the base and rover, also you have to pay.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a two.
You have to pay for everything.
Exactly. So because you have to have the accuracy.
Yeah.
Now this new equipment, now which we are dealer, the exclusive dealer for Iraq, it doesn't need anything, only one device. So it's directly connected to the satellite and directly give you the correction instantly on real time.
Wow.
So it will give you the freedom of using course and base.
Wow. It does two of the things for you.
Exactly. And the cost is very cheap.
Wow.
Yeah. This is the comparison that we need to do in advance to see what are existing, equipment, what are technology now available, so we can bring it into the country and to fill the gaps that, we feel it, that there isn't. And people, they really like the innovative idea now.
Wow. And you spoke a minute ago about mountains and rain, and you said we have mountains in Kurdistan. Let me ask you, as an expert, what is considered a mountain? For example, how high should it be? Are there standards for something to be called a mountain and not a hill or a small mountain, for example? Because as you drive around, you see different sizes of mountains. But as a map specialist looking from space, are there requirements for something to be called a mountain?
Sure. There is too many criteria, actually. But as an expert in GIS and also doing the remote sensing, when we see the nature of Kurdistan, if I can say in another way, that the mountains are the main source of creating clouds. Yes, because the clouds usually are fill of, let's say, the condensed H2O. When we have this kind of process, the water cycle, then it will be rain in flat area, and also a mountain will be the main source of water. So the mountain for us is the main source of water. Even there is no water in the mountain.
Yeah.
That's very tricky.
Exactly. It's not a lake or a sea.
Exactly. So let's say we did a map for the whole region, and we found out the main source for the whole 2023 until end of 2024, the main source of precipitation are the mountains.
Wow.
Yeah. The main source. I'm not saying the only source.
Yeah.
The main source. And this is why whenever we have the short cycle of water, that means we have too frequent rain. And this is opportunity.
So if we have a lot of frequent rain, it means the water cycle is short.
That's very true. And also that affects the surrounding, let's say, countries. Also too many factors that will affect that. Yeah. But the main factor for us, the main source, let's say, through the maps that we understand, is mountains.
Mountains.
Yeah, this is why there's globally a very focus on mountains.
Yeah.
Even in COP, there is a mountain
partnership.
Yeah, exactly. There is an opportunity for us to use and, let's say, watershed management the mountains, because the sources are within the boundary, the region. Yeah. So we can use those water for agricultural perspective, let's say, activity, and also others, for the, drinking water.
Water supply, yeah.
Yeah, water supply. Yeah.
And then we have all mountains create clouds and rain, or they have to be really big and tall mountains in order to create the cloud that we need.
Actually, that depends on the too many factors. The pattern, let's say the pattern. To have the clouds, there are too many indicators or criteria all together that will establish the cloud. So sometimes we have cloud, but there's no rain.
Yeah.
Especially in March, in April, we can see cloud, right?
Yes.
The white cloud, but the situation or the environment for having rain, it's not available.
Yeah.
So you will see that very nice blue sky.
Exactly.
With
people take pictures of it.
Exactly.
They don't know that it's just dry clouds.
Exactly. So that doesn't mean whenever we have cloud, we have rain. That depends on the too many criteria and situation.
So it is true then sometimes we say the mountains are water towers. So that based on what you're saying, that's very true, especially in Kurdistan. Our mountains are our source of water. I
do agree. And the data tell us that this is very true through remote sensing, because, on a spot, you will see the cloud, but you will not see the behind the mountain, what's happening. Maybe there is another mountain and there is cloud, right? But we don't see it. But on remote sensing, this is give you the bigger picture, another perspective. Yeah.
Exactly. As a person, if you stand on a mountain or at the foot of a mountain, you are a tiny speck. How can you read the whole picture? As you say, from space, you can read the entire region.
Very true, very true. By the way, this is the main source for water. And we have another treasure, which we call groundwater. It's very tricky because it's invisible. We cannot see it. But for us, we have too many challenges. And that as a MAPCOM, now we are opening a new era to monitor the groundwater and to see exactly in which level underground we have water and what kind of specification the water has and what is the depth of that aquifer for the water. And the main thing, to identify the exact best fit location to have a well. This is the new era that now as a MAPCOM we are entering in and involving in. So this is very crucial because if you want to have a well, you have to spend quite good money.
Yes.
Sometimes you will not reach to water.
That's true. Your money is wasted.
Exactly.
I've seen that, in some areas. People have dug 200 meters, they didn't reach water, and they paid for that digging. Exactly.
And if we want to have this well for agriculture activity, even if you reach to water, maybe the water is saline. So it doesn't fit for agriculture activity. What if you have the data to tell you where is exact water and where should be the well and what kind of water is it proper for agriculture activity way in advance before starting digging?
How will you do that? Via satellite again or on the ground? Because we are talking about groundwater.
That's on the ground. So we have an instrument to detect exactly the location of well and what are the layers that starting from the top layer till we will reach to the water. And then to understand if the water is saline or no.
Wow.
Yeah. This is before doing any digging. And the cost for that, it costs, for example, maybe around 10% of the whole digging process.
Yes. So if someone, before they dig a well and come across saline water or not reach water for that matter, the best thing to do is to do a survey like that. That will save them a lot of time and effort.
Exactly.
And money.
Exactly. For example, let's say if a person wants to have one well on his land, so we can do the survey and tell him that first, what is the best location for well? If there's water, sometimes we don't have water in that land. So we will tell him. And this is our result.
Yeah.
by the way.
So people must be disappointed when you say there is no water on your land,
Unfortunately,
under your land.
yes, yes. Unfortunately, this is the reality. But if he digs the well, he needs to spend quite good of
Yeah, at
money.
least $50,000, $60,000. Yeah.
So that means, okay, he loses money.
Yeah.
But if he has invested 10%, around 10% from the digging process, we will give him the result.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to blah, 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 blah. The main thing is where exactly the location. And we can give him, okay, what is the production rate for that well?
You can even tell
Yes.
that because it's
Yes.
a mystery.
Yeah.
Wells are really a mystery to me.
Exactly.
So how much water is in it, how long it's going to last. Can you tell that? What's the lifespan of a well?
For the one well, it's tricky, but we can give him an estimation because the well should be on aquifer.
Yes.
Aquifer is the pond underground,
Yeah.
basically. We need to understand the extension of that pond or the aquifer. This is the right word to use, aquifer.
Yeah.
That's the whole river underground. So, and in order to understand that aquifer, we need to consider bigger area.
Yeah.
We need to extend the survey for a bigger area. So from that perspective, for example, let's say for Erbil, we can have this survey for a certain area. If we take, let's say, at least 2 kilometers in each direction, then we understand that, okay, what is the extension or the extent of that aquifer underground? And what is the production or the amount of water in that aquifer?
Yeah.
Even if we have more than 2 kilometers, then we can have bigger understanding, the bigger picture. Okay, what is the shape of river which is underneath of the Erbil? Yeah.
Another thing is that every time it rains, it has happened to me, and I'm sure to many other people, when you see all this rainwater going down the streets and through creeks and streams, everyone would say, I wish I could save some of that for summer. All that water. Is that going to waste really, or some of it goes into the ground? Is there a way to save some of that water that just goes by?
Yeah, recently I read a research regarding, let's say, the comparison between using the water well and also the recharging the well. So unfortunately, the data was very, let's say, not good.
Inaccurate.
Not good because the percentage of using was more than 96% and the recharging was only 4%.
Ooh.
So if you compare it, it's too much to use. And, the over pumping for the wells is one of the main problem.
Yes.
And that makes that the water table to decrease. And also that decreasing, that makes the digging well very costly because the water now is very, deep, far from the surface. And those problems are, scattered over the whole region. But there's techniques to recharge those aquifer. If you allow me, I can give you, let's say, a story regarding what we can do as a MAPCOM to manage the floods before it's happening. So the main thing here, how we can identify those locations in summer will be flooded in winter.
Wow.
I'm saying summer, that's for example, but we can do it way in advance. So we can use technology again, remote sensing data and also field data. We can mix too much of layer. If you want to understand exactly where will be the flood, if you only take one parameter like the elevation, you will say, okay, the lowest elevation will be flooded and the highest elevation will not be flooded.
Yeah.
Okay, if we take only this indicator, it's not accurate. We need to also include other parameter. For example, the slope.
Yes.
Also, the wetness index in that area. How wet is the soil? And also, what is the vegetation cover health in that area?
Yeah.
We know if the vegetation cover is not healthy, that means the soil underneath the tree, it's stiff.
It's not healthy. Yeah.
It's not healthy. It's like we call it in engineering perspective, hydraulic, we call it curve number. So the curve number, that it will be like a tile. It will not absorb.
Yeah.
There's no permeability
Yeah.
for that soil underneath the tree. So that means it's not absorbing the water.
Yes.
Through satellite, we can understand if the tree is not healthy, that gives me that indicator the soil
Is not healthy.
is not healthy. It cannot absorb
Because
water.
that's a very good point, because some people think as soon as it rains, all that rain goes back into their well. But the well, first of all, is 300, 400 meters deep. And as you said, not every soil type absorbs water and recharges the groundwater.
Very true. And also, we need to understand the location-wise. Okay, how far those location to the streams, the seasonal stream,
Yes.
and to the road, and also the drainage density in that area. So all those layers together, we can blend it,
Yeah.
and we give him weight through, we call it AHP, analytical hierarchy process, to give them the weight. For example, I would ask the indigenous, let's say, pupil, okay, in that area, what is the exact reason, according to your perspective, when there's a flood? He will give me the previous experience that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
So also I can embed it to the formula. All those layers together give me one map, only one map. And that map shows 5 categories. The location will be flooded into very high severity, and also high severity, moderate, low, and very low. We usually use low severity and very low severity for evacuation plans. Okay, guys, those locations will not be flooded, so we need to have a plan just in case flood happen.
Yeah.
We need to go to those locations.
Yes.
This is what globally are using it.
So you use them to evacuate people to that place.
Exactly.
Okay.
When there's a rain, because already, and this is depends on the awareness.
Yeah.
We need to do the awareness before, way before,
Yeah.
so they are not surprised. Where should we go?
Exactly.
So they understand. Okay, those routes are going to the those areas which are low and very low in terms of flooding. So eventually, I have a map that gives me where should I construct school,
Yes.
where I should construct hospitals, infrastructure basically. Is it like logic to have hospital in a very high zone of flooding? Basically, no, right?
Yeah.
But eventually now, if we want to have a new city, new village, this is very accurate, let's say, analysis in advance to have it. Okay, I know I will not do the infrastructure in high and very high zone.
Yeah. And then that is also related to the important topic of nature-based solutions,
Sure.
which you have worked on, and MAPCOM also works on. You still need satellite surveying and other projects in order to do a nature-based solution initiative. A nature-based solution means using nature to solve climate problems or environmental problems, probably, right?
So the simple definition for nature-based solution, we use nature to solve the real issues
Of nature.
of nature. And if it's related to climate change, we call it EBA, ecosystem-based adaptation.
Okay. Yeah, there is EBA.
Yeah, but the bigger umbrella is NBS. The EBA is underneath the umbrella of NBS. Yeah. This is why now globally they are in direction of EBA and NBS projects. Because I remember I took a course while I was in UN system regarding the EBA and NBS and comparison with the engineering structure regarding the cost. So the NBS EBA if we compare it regarding the cost, is very cheaper
Yeah.
because you are using the material in nature.
Yeah. You use nature itself to
Yes.
help nature or to solve a problem.
Exactly. So let's have an example for nature-based solution to mitigate flood.
Yeah.
It's very easy to understand from upstream to downstream how the flow is, how the runoff is
Yeah.
when there's a rain.
Yeah.
So if I understand, for example, let's say for Erbil City, if I do the watershed management, Dara 2 we have Kesnazan, we have let's say Girjutiar, Mala Omar, all those catchments, we can understand those streams that are let's say creating as a river when there's a rain. We call it seasonal river. So from the upstream, the top, that river, when there's a flow, we have stream orders. Let's say number 1, number 2, number 3. So all number streams from order number 1 flows to number 2. All stream orders from number 2 flows to number 3.
Yeah.
So technically, we can do it by GIS. So I cannot go to, let's say, to the field, say, okay, guys, this is stream order number 2, if I don't have that data. The experienced people can do. But for fresh graduate or the, let's say, junior one, we need to have this kind of map.
Yes.
And it's very scientific. And also the softwares that been built, so they have the experience from older people, which they have very experienced, and they turn it to code, and they put it in the software.
So they turn ancient knowledge into computer codes, basically.
Exactly.
Wow.
So that means I have a consultation with the high experienced people, but with the software.
Nice.
Yeah.
You
And I can use
combine
it
them.
with my fingertips and also just a few clicks.
So what's the nature-based or ecosystem-based solution for, let's say, one of the areas around Erbil? As you said before, you have many streams that all merge into one major stream that becomes a seasonal river. So the nature-based solution is what? To stop these small streams, catch the water, create a green space, or just slow down the water?
So basically, we are slowing down the speed of water. This is the main idea. And also if it's related to the climate change, so it's adaptation. For example, let's say in upstream and downstream for any area in watershed in the catchment area, the flow will be very speedy when it goes to downstream.
Yeah.
So if there is high rain, for example, let's say 100 millimeter in 1 hour, that means huge amount of rain come through the runoff to the downstream.
Yeah.
We cannot control it, and there will be flood. So the water goes beyond its path, so that will be separated to the neighborhood, and that huge amount of water in a very short time of period causes flood.
Yeah.
We call it flash flood.
Flash floods.
Flash
That's what it is.
Yeah, flash flood. The flash flood means that you have huge amount of rain in a very certain period of time.
Yeah.
If we have this huge amount of rain in a nice span of time, that doesn't cause rain.
Yeah.
Flood. So what we are doing in downstream, we are going to upstream and trying to slowing down the speed of water.
Yeah.
It's like Corona time, if you remember. They called don't go outside because the capacity of the hospitals are very limited.
Yeah.
But this hospital can cure the patient, right? But if there is huge amount of patient, they cannot deal with it because the capacity already limited.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, you have to have, from time to time, or don't go outside altogether. You have your time. The quarantine, the idea came to the reality at that
6
time.
6 feet.
Exactly.
Was it 3 feet or 6 feet to be the distance between two people? 3 feet, I think. We forgot already how far you had to stand from another person.
Actually, I think it should be like more than 5 meters. Otherwise, it's airborne. It catches you. But I mean, the nature-based solution, we can deal with it upstream before the flood is happening. Because when there's a flood, we go to the location of flood and we are trying to fix those areas. But the main idea, go to the root of the issue.
Yeah, the root cause of the
exactly.
problem.
If we have solved that root of, let's say, issue, then the cost of having damage in downstream is very limited. It's not like having the whole damage in one area. It will be very costly.
Yeah.
This is why the scientists decided to do the, root cause solution. A nature-based solution, like doing check dams, for example, like putting rocks onto each other on the seasonal stream.
Creating small dams,
a very small thing that will slowing down the speed of water. When water goes to downstream, it will be very in not that speed or amount that makes problem or damage to the infrastructure.
That makes sense. And then with maps, why do we not have, as I said earlier, every time a map is published, someone criticizes this map? I know this is outside MAPCOM, but who creates these maps? Is it the governments themselves, or anyone can create a map of a country? For example, Iraq can stop satellites from working in its space or not. A country can decide to tell a satellite, don't watch my country, or it's outside people's control.
Actually, it's a very tricky question because, I think there is more than 2,000 satellites orbiting the Earth to capture the weather, to capture the phenomena which are happening around any spot of Earth. So the data are usually publicly available for researchers to understand those phenomena and to be updated. And the resources, as I said, is publicly available. You only need to have very limited code, let's say, experience. Otherwise, you can use AI now. You just give him a prompt that I want to do X and Y and Z. And then the code gives you the very good indicator. But you only need to understand, okay, this code means that. So in order to not just copy paste and put it in the chatbot or any kind of analysis, you need to be, aware. Regarding your question, as I mentioned, it's very tricky. That depends on too many factors. One of them, the policy of the country and etc. As a company, we are not involved in this direction. But as a researcher or academic, there is subscription for any kind of satellite because the resolution differs. If you want higher resolution, you need to purchase. If you want publicly available, for example, 10-meter resolution from Sentinel, it's publicly available. You can download.
Wow.
Yeah, you can download. It's just a click.
Yeah. But you mentioned something really important in the beginning, is that most people think it's important just to have data. Okay, we know it's important, not most people. It is very important to have data, to collect data, but as raw data, it's useless unless some experts who know the coding, who know how to read it, process it and turn it into information, right? Just data by itself is not enough. There is a process after that, data processing, so that ordinary people can understand it.
Exactly. So between raw data and the product, there is the role of the companies or the experienced people to convert the raw data to something that be understandable. Basically, remote sensing and maps are made for supporting the decision makers. What to do where exactly. This is the main idea of maps. Otherwise, it will be like, it's good to have it.
Yeah.
It's very nice to have it. But, for decision makers, it should be very supportive. And simple is more. This is what architects, they are saying. How simple is the map? It is more like it's very useful.
Yeah.
Like if you want a map just to show the natural ground level, or only to see the landscape,
Yeah.
or maybe it's administrative boundaries, or maybe it's only to show the parks,
Yeah.
the vegetation, the location of trees. Depends on the requirement. As mentioned, maps are here to support the decision makers, the who knows the policy, who sees far away, who sees the future,
Yeah.
and how they can decide to do things properly.
So we can turn maps are not only geographical maps with borders, names of capitals, the one that we are used to from childhood.
Yeah.
A map could represent information, a set of information.
That's very true. For example, as in our company, now we have a new model for having the air quality. For example, generators, air traffic, also refineries, any kind of, let's say, facility which they have stock, which they are polluting. Basically, we can see on neighborhood level, okay, for example, X neighborhood in Erbil, the main source of polluting is, for example, is generators. Through that modeling, we can answer it.
Yeah.
Is it generators or the refinery, or let's say something else, another source? It will be very specific.
Yeah.
We are not saying, okay, on Erbil level, the air pollution is very bad or very good.
Yeah.
No, we are saying very specifically through that model. We can do the modeling.
Yeah.
We call it air dispersion modeling. If a factory wants to be, established in any location, we will consider the air dispersion model one of the main, let's say, analyses that we need to do. Why? Because it's directly affecting the people health.
Yeah. People in that area.
Doesn't necessarily to be in that area. We need to understand what is the extent, because the wind direction will affect that. For example, the PM 2.5, where will be headed if this facility works 8 hours per day,
Yeah.
and to which location, to which extent.
How far it goes.
Exactly. The terrain is very effective. So wind to terrain, like the natural ground, it's gives you an indicator before the facility built. So we will answer the question, is it the right, proper way to build that facility in that area? And how that affecting the health of people? Because we have standards, like, for example, for air quality, we have WHO standards. If we do the air dispersion modeling, we can have those indicators and compare it with the standards from WHO. Are we beyond that?
Yeah.
Above that? Or are we within the range?
Within, yeah.
So from that perspective, the responsible entity will say, okay, guys, as far as you are doing air dispersion modeling for your facility, and this is the result which are within the standards of WHO,
You're
licensed, approved.
good. Nice.
If not, you have to have another solution. Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. Let's talk, one last topic I'd like to mention is that earlier we spoke about how geography, I got this idea from looking at maps every day all my life. I said, oh, maybe people's characteristics and personalities, or not just one person, a country's people might be decided by the geography they live in. And you said, yeah, this has been proven in everywhere. And I also later heard a podcast on the radio that, yes, certain areas people are in a certain way because of the geographical location.
Very true, very true. Uh, Even the soil type affects the people. It's
Yeah.
very strange, but it's a fact. We've been seeing, as I mentioned, I heard from people that visiting Saudi
Yeah.
for Umrah, they have visiting Mecca, Medina.
Yeah.
So they feel that there's two different kind of, let's say, nature of people,
Yeah.
especially when you compare it when they are dealing with each other from purchasing, selling.
On a daily basis.
Yes, exactly. So they say, okay, Medina's people are very soft compared to Mecca. So this is why, if you geographically, in Mecca there's mountain, there's no, let's say, agriculture activity compared to Medina.
So the terrain basically
Yes.
affects people's way of life or
Yeah.
thinking even.
Yeah.
Thinking process.
Exactly. For example, in the mountain, there is if I can say, dangerous animals.
Yeah.
So the people in the mountains are very protective
Yeah. And tough.
compared to compared to the flat cities.
Yeah.
And this is very obvious from other countries, from even the movies. You can see they are prepared for sudden attack, or let's say sudden, a plan from animals. So they're preparing.
Yeah.
They have knives from stone.
Yeah.
Previously, they used that. So they are waiting. They are prepared, let's say. They have early warning systems.
Exactly. Well, and they have earlier experience as to things having happened.
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. So thank you so much, Kag Mohammed, for coming really today to our program, telling us about maps, about GIS, remote sensing, satellites, how these things work. But so thank you very much.
More than welcome.
And I would like to bring this map down on a desk, and you explain to me the growth or the expansion of a circular city, if you
Perfect.
don't mind.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for having me here. Hopefully we will see more productive podcast
Oh,
future.
no, thank you. I learned a lot from you and will continue to do so because I love maps and watching Earth from space. I hope I can one day go to space.